Hey everyone. So literally 3 hours ago, the Department for Work and Pensions just dropped some massive news about state pension changes. And I'm talking changes that could affect millions of pensioners starting with payments on September 17th. Now look, I know pension talk can sound boring, but stick with me here because this isn't your typical government announcement. We're talking about real money hitting real bank accounts, or in some cases, not hitting them when people expect it to. If you're currently receiving a state pension, know someone who is, or you're planning for your own retirement, this affects you. Period. The DWP doesn't make announcements like this often, and when they do, it usually means something big is changing in how our pension system works. So here's my question for you: when was the last time you actually checked your state pension forecast? And I mean really looked at it, not just glanced at a letter and filed it away. Drop a comment below and let me know, are you someone who stays on top of pension updates, or do you just hope everything works out? And hey, if this kind of practical money news is helpful to you, hit that subscribe button. We break down complex government announcements so you don't have to wade through pages of official jargon. Right, let's break down what the DWP actually announced today. And I'm going to translate this from government speak into normal human language. First up, the payment schedule changes. Starting September 17th, some state pension payments are shifting to a new calendar system. Now, this might sound technical, but here's what it means for real people. Let's say you're Margaret from Bristol. You've been getting your state pension every Monday for the past 5 years. Suddenly, your payment day shifts to Wednesday. That might not sound like a big deal, but if you've got direct debits coming out on Tuesday expecting that Monday payment, you've got a problem. The DWP says this affects roughly 2.3 million pensioners initially. That's not a small number, that's more people than live in the entire city of Manchester. But here's the thing that's got me concerned: the communication around this has been pretty poor. Most people are finding out about changes to their own payments through news reports rather than direct contact from the DWP. That's backwards, right? You'd think if someone's pension payment day was changing, they'd be the first to know, not the last. Now, the second major change is around pension credit eligibility. They are updating the income thresholds, which sounds boring but is actually huge. Here's a real scenario. Meet David, 68, from Newcastle. His weekly income is £185. Under the old system, he wouldn't qualify for pension credit. Under the new rules announced today, he might now be eligible for an extra £40 per week. That's over £2,000 a year, enough to heat his home properly this winter. But here's the catch: David won't automatically get this money. He has to know about the change and apply for it. The DWP isn't automatically reviewing everyone's case. The third change is around the winter fuel payment integration. They are linking it more closely to pension credit claims. Translation? If you don't claim pension credit because you didn't think you were eligible, you might now miss out on winter fuel payments too. Let me give you Sarah's story. She's 66, gets £167 a week state pension, has a small private pension of £30 per week. She never applied for pension credit because she thought she earned too much. Under these new rules, she could be eligible for pension credit and keep her winter fuel payment. But only if she knows to apply. This is where it gets really frustrating for me, because we're talking about people who've worked their entire lives, paid into the system, and now they're being asked to navigate an increasingly complex maze of applications and eligibility criteria just to get what they're entitled to. It's like the system is designed to make it difficult for people to claim what's rightfully theirs. And the people who suffer most are often those who are least equipped to deal with bureaucratic complexity. I'm curious how many of you watching this actually know someone who's missed out on benefits they were entitled to simply because they didn't know they could claim them. It happens more than you'd think, right? Let me know in the comments. Because this is exactly the kind of situation where good people fall through the cracks of a system that should be protecting them. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture here, because these changes don't exist in a vacuum. The UK currently has about 12.7 million people receiving state pensions. That number is growing by roughly 200,000 every year as more baby boomers hit retirement age. The system is under pressure like never before. Here's a stat that might surprise you. The government estimates that £2.4 billion in pension credit goes unclaimed every year. That's money sitting in government accounts that should be in pensioners' bank accounts. These new changes might help with that, but only if people actually know about them. The timing is also significant. We're heading into winter, energy bills are still high, and many pensioners are genuinely worried about heating their homes. The government knows this. These changes around pension credit and winter fuel payments aren't coincidental, they are targeted at the cost of living crisis. But here's what concerns me about the broader trend: the government is making the benefit system increasingly complex. You've got state pension, pension credit, winter fuel payments, housing benefit, council tax reduction, all with different eligibility criteria, different application processes, different payment dates. For someone like my neighbor's mum, who's 73 and not particularly comfortable with computers, navigating this system is genuinely overwhelming. The changes announced today add another layer of complexity to an already confusing system. The DWP's own research shows that confusion about entitlements is one of the biggest barriers to people claiming what they are owed. Yet they keep making changes that add more confusion rather than simplifying things. And here's a projection that should worry all of us: by 2040, there will be 17 million people claiming state pensions in the UK. If we can't get the system working properly for 12.7 million people now, what happens when we add another 4.3 million to the mix? The infrastructure, both technological and human, simply isn't keeping pace with the demographic changes we're experiencing. What's particularly troubling is how these changes disproportionately affect the most vulnerable pensioners. Those with higher incomes and better education are more likely to stay informed about changes, more likely to have family members who can help them navigate the system, more likely to have access to professional advice. Meanwhile, those who need these benefits most, the pensioners living on the margins, dealing with health issues, perhaps socially isolated, are the ones most likely to miss out on what they are entitled to. The September 17th date is also strategically chosen, if you think about it. It's early enough in the autumn that people have time to sort out any issues before the really cold weather hits, but it's also right after the summer when many people might not have been paying close attention to their finances. The government is banking on people not noticing these changes until they are already implemented. Alright, enough context, let's talk about what you can actually do right now. First, check your state pension forecast. Go to gov.uk and use their state pension forecast tool. It takes 5 minutes and gives you a clear picture of what you're entitled to. If you're already claiming, check when your next payment is due, it might have changed. This isn't just about knowing when money's coming in, it's about being able to plan your finances properly. Second, review your pension credit eligibility. Even if you've checked before, check again. The thresholds announced today change the game. The eligibility checker on gov.uk is free and anonymous. If you think you might qualify, apply. The worst they can say is no, and the application is free. Don't let pride or assumptions about what you're entitled to stop you from claiming what could be thousands of pounds a year. Third, talk to someone you trust. This is crucial. If you're finding this confusing, you're not alone. Citizens Advice, HUK, or even your local council can help you understand what you're entitled to. Don't struggle with this alone. Sometimes having another pair of eyes on your situation can spot opportunities you've missed. And here's a bonus tip: if you're helping an elderly relative or neighbor, offer to sit down with them and go through these checks together. Sometimes having someone else there makes all the difference. It's not about taking over their finances, it's about providing moral support and a second opinion on what can be a genuinely confusing process. The reality is that the pension system in this country has become a patchwork of different schemes, different rules, and different application processes that have built up over decades. Nobody designed it to be this complicated, it just evolved that way. But the result is that millions of people aren't getting what they're entitled to, not because they don't deserve it, but because the system makes it too difficult to access. What's particularly frustrating is that the technology exists to make this so much simpler. The government has all the data it needs to automatically calculate who's eligible for what. They know your national insurance contributions, they know your current income, they know your age and circumstances. There's no technical reason why pension credit couldn't be automatically calculated and applied for eligible people. The fact that it isn't suggests that the complexity is a feature, not a bug. So here's my final question for you: in an ideal world, how do you think the government should communicate major changes like this to pensioners? Should it be letters, phone calls, TV ads, or something else entirely? Because at the end of the day, these changes only help people if they actually know about them. And right now, the communication system isn't working for millions of people who need it most. The changes announced today are significant, but they are also symptomatic of a broader problem with how we treat older people in this society. We expect them to navigate increasingly complex systems, often without the support they need, and then we act surprised when they don't claim what they are entitled to. It's a system that works well for people who are comfortable with bureaucracy and technology, but leaves behind those who aren't. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you know someone who might be affected by these changes, please share this video with them. Sometimes the most valuable thing we can do is simply pass along important information to people who need it. Don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns of government announcements that actually matter to your wallet. I'll see you in the next one.